St. Xavier Bomber Football is brought to you by Broadbeck Porter Insurance, your #1 insurance specialist. Broadbeck Porter Insurance, RDI, your partner for contact center support, data analytics, and business insights. RDI, Finneytown Skyline Chili, the skyline of the Bombers. Finneytown Skyline Chili. The Lyle Team. Stay on top of your local real estate market with Katie and Nick Lyle. The Lyle Team. Weber Palatial Estates. Prestigious home building by Janet and Russ Weber. Weber Palatial Estates. St. Xavier Bomber Football is brought to you by Conover Family Dental. Experience meets compassion.
All right, guys, you with me?
Joseph Burning Printing. Quality printing since 1883. Joseph Burning Printing. The Haybegger Corporation. Complete HVA Solutions. Bryant. Fast, reliable heating and cooling repair service. Bryant Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical Service. Sorrento's Italian Joint. Family-run institution serving house-made pizza, pasta, and subs. With an event space and sports bar. Walt's Hitching Post. Known for their delicious ribs complimented by Walt's signature secret sauce. Xavier Scholarship Granting Organization. Designate your state to support the young men of St. Xavier High School. Xavier SGO at xaviersgo.org. Tune in next time for St. Xavier Bomber Football.
Think Verizon, the best 5G network, is expensive? Think again. Bring in your...
Take it to about 45.
A better deal. Now, what's to do with your unwanted...
A little over a minute, about minute 15.
TNT Mobile. Jokes aside, the best 5G network has you covered with the most ways to save on plans, streams.
Okay.
So bring in your bill to your local Verizon store and we'll give you a better deal. Rankings based on Root Metrics Root Score report dated 1H 2025. Your results may vary and must provide a postpaid consumer mobile bill dated within the past 45 days. Bill must be in the same name as the person redeeming the deal. Additional terms apply.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Getting support from friends online kept me on track.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
Instead of smoking after I ate, I'd get up and take a walk.
I missed having a cigarette in my hand, so I'd hold a pen or a straw, anything.
Until I knew I wouldn't give in to temptation, I spent more time with my friends who didn't smoke.
I went to places that were smoke-free.
I didn't stay quit the very first time I tried.
I kept on trying, and I learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
I quit.
I quit.
I quit.
We did it, so can you.
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800.
Here we go.
Now, a message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and CDC.
The High School Football Tonight Show is brought to you by AE Door and Window Company. They sell the best and service the rest. Penn Station, hometown love in every sub. Thomas More University. Accelerate your career with a business degree from Thomas More University. And by Kelty Chevrolet on Route 50 and 275 in Lawrenceburg. Greater Cincinnati's fastest growing full service dealer. And the Tri-State's #1 Chevy lease dealer. All because of your family believing in ours. From our family to yours. KeltyChev.com. This is High School Football Tonight.
All right, let's have some fun. Welcome in to the High School Football Tonight show, powered by TriStateFootball.com, here on Cincinnati's ESPN 1530 and Fox Sports 1360. My name is Safwan Alvi. I will be your host, and I am joined, as always, by my partner in crime, the guru, the don, the man, the myth, the legend, and, of course, the friend. His name is Greg Shoemaker, and we are TriStateFootball.com. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms for all things high school football in Southwest Ohio, Eastern Indiana, and Northern Kentucky. Twitter and Instagram at TS Football. Again, that's at TS Football. You can also like us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube, where you can watch our pregame and postgame interviews with coaches and other content on TriStateFootball.com as well. We appreciate everyone for listening on these airways as the St. Xavier Bombers just took down the #1 ranked team in Kentucky, Louisville Trinity. The Bombers' defense stands tall. We also have Adeline McCullum and Haley Valadingham from TGIFFootball.com. Be sure to follow their Twitter page as well, at TGIFFootball.com. They do some awesome stuff for high school football sports as well, so we appreciate them. And we have Joe Waldell behind the glass hanging out with us on the P's and Q's. So we appreciate everybody doing their thing. And Greg, we have so much to get to. We are going to be crowning a new #1 team in the Blitz 5 Top 25. We had a barn burner all-time classic over there in Northern Kentucky. We got some dominating performances over there in Eastern Indiana. There is just so much to get to. But let's go to the #1 ranked team, the Moeller Crusaders, getting a top 2 matchup, Greg, for the second time in 3 weeks in the GCL South. The Pit was absolutely rocking tonight, sold out for the first time in many, many years. And the Elder Panthers have done it, defeating the Moeller Crusaders by a score of, I believe it was
24 to 16.
24 to 16,
yeah.
yes. 24 to 16, Elder defeats Moeller. Greg, tell me about this atmosphere. I know me and you were just talking about this before we went on air, about the atmosphere and Elder defeating Moeller, handing them their first GCL South loss since 2021.
Yeah, and Elder wins the GCL South outright for the first time, since 2008, I think it was what we saw. First title for them since 2015 as well. And man, you're right. It was a great atmosphere. Sold out to 10,000 people, whatever it was. It was a who's who of who's who out there at the game tonight. Willie Cunningham was even out there. Dr. Krimchek. I mean, he's the Moeller doctor, but you just see all these great faces. Every TV station in town was out. Ran into Danneman and Jeremy Rao and Mike Dyer over at Channel 9, and of course Charlie and Jared at Channel 5. So. Yeah, I mean, it was just. I've been to some great games there and some great crowds, but this one tonight was special. And man, hats off to Elder. And we were just talking off the air. They've only turned the ball over 2 times. That's one of the reasons why they're 7-0 against that tough schedule. Now that said, next 2 teams on their schedule. I mean, they came into the night with games against 3 teams that came into the night that are all 5-1. So they knocked the first of those off, but. Moeller shot himself in the foot tonight quite a few times. They had 10 penalties for 80 yards. That last drive they had 2 sacks on 3rd and 4th down. So tough night for Moeller, but a great night to be an Elder Panther and wear purple for sure.
Absolutely. The Elder Scores are brought to you by Kelsey Truck Country on Route 50 and 275 in Lawrenceburg, Greater Cincinnati's fastest growing full-service dealer and the Tri-State's #1 Chevy lease dealer, all because your family believing in ours. From our family to yours, KelseyChev.com. And Greg, the dominance of the GCL South continues right now after the next week's ranking comes out. We're going to have 3 different teams through week 7 and going into week 8 that are going to be #1 in our rankings, right? St. X had it earlier in the year. Moeller had it at a stranglehold for a couple weeks, and it looks like Elder's going to be that #1 team. This conference, Greg, is always really good. That's never a doubt, but the dominance this year is just a different level.
It really is, and you've got Elder sitting at 7-0, and then you got 3 other teams, Moeller, St. X, and LaSalle all at 5-2. Think about that for that, 22-6 overall in that conference through 7 weeks or whatever it is. Yeah, so awesome. It's been a great conference, and it has lived up to its billing because you just can't take a night off in the GCL South. You really can't.
Absolutely, Greg. Before we take a quick break and really get into this, I do want to talk about that Northern Kentucky game, right? We're going to talk about this game. We're going to come back to this game a lot. One of the best games you will see all year. 2 ranked teams, the Covington Catholic Colonels coming in at number 12, taking on the Highlands Bluebirds coming in at 5th. And Greg, this game came down to the literal last second. Highlands defeats Covcath 31-28 with 3 seconds left. Rio Littmer hit Tayton Lorenzen for an 18-yard touchdown. It was 5 plays, 75 yards in 35 seconds as Covcath had the lead earlier in that drive. What an awesome game. Highlands comes out with a big, big victory there.
Tayton Lorenzen's becoming a star right before our eyes. I think we're going to see him get some major offers. I do look for him to go to Power 4. He's only a junior. He can throw the football, he can run the football, he can catch the football, does so many things well. Coming into this game tonight, Highlands only had they had 13 different players that had scored touchdowns for him, but the only one with more than 2 is Lorenzen. He came into the night with 10.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we're going to take a quick break real quick. Again, we got so much to get to. The Underground Sports Shop scoreboard, ranked matchups all over the place. Again, some Eastern Indiana teams dominating as well. Again, we're just getting started. We have so much to get to. GMC, ECC, some small schools as well. So stick with us on the High School Football Tonight show, powered by TriStateFootball.com on ESPN 1530 and Fox Sports 1360.
Penn Station is turning up the heat. The Ghost Pepper Cheesesteak. Premium steak.
All right, gentlemen, who should I try to ring up here?
Through November, get it before it vanishes. Visit Penn Station or order on our website or app. Penn Station. Love your sub. You craving what I'm craving?
Dave the Door Guy with Overhead Door Company of Northern Kentucky with the joke of the day. Why did the garage door play wide receiver for the football team? Because it was always open. For more jokes and unsurpassed garage door service,
Copy.
call at 513-347-DOOR or visit OHDNKY.com. That's OHDNKY.com.
Make it more at Thomas More University. Our Saints Essential program is designed with you in mind. Enjoy all-access dining plans, easy parking, and more included with your tuition. Visit campus and schedule now at thomasmore.edu.
Hey, want to hear something great? Right now at Wendy's, you can get 2 of the #1 selling bacon cheeseburger in all fast food, the JBC, plus medium fries and a medium soft drink for just $8. Want to hear something else great? Double the burger means double the bacon. Now that's a game changer. 2 of the #1 bacon cheeseburgers with fries and a drink for just $8. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Request 8.
I got him.
Obtain discount. Individual items at regular price.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. Their max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
For 10 years, families have trusted Kelsey Chevrolet. Now we're driving forward with a new look, the same promise, and more ways to deliver peace of mind. Visit us today and experience the difference. From our family to yours, KelseyChev.com.
Charlie Clifford with Blitz 5 football. The wait is over. I don't know what else to tell you. It's Moeller and St. X, and Jackson Fry and Matt Ponatowski are going to duel to figure out who steals this chapter of the rivalry. Pre-game tailgate, 5 o'clock on News 5, 11 o'clock in studio, WLWT Blitz 5. Full highlights and reaction. Plenty other great games around. We'll see you for week 5.
Penn's
Stand by.
Ghost Pepper Cheesesteak. Premium steak, provolone, and fiery ghost pepper cheese. Only here through November. Get it before it vanishes. Visit Penn Station or order on our website or app. Penn Station. Love your sub. You craving what I'm craving?
All right. High School Football Tonight Show. Safon Elvey, Greg Shoemaker, TriStateFootball.com, here with you until 11 p.m., talking all things high school football in Southwest Ohio, Eastern Indiana, and Northern Kentucky, the Week 7 post-game edition. And, Greg, we are getting excited because it's our favorite part of the show, talking to some winning head coaches. We're going to go into the GMC and talk some Oak Hills football. We have head coach Dan Scholes joining us after they got a big win. They went to Sycamore and won that game 48-10. They've won 3 games in a row and improved to 4-3 on the season. Coach, I want to thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on a big win tonight.
I appreciate that very much. I thank you guys for all you do for high school sports.
Dan, great to hear from you. Great to see you back on the sidelines again. And, let's talk a little bit about taking this job before we get into this game tonight. You took it over late when Coach Roden decided to take the job at Fairfield. But, from when you took this job over, like I said, sort of late into the year, talk about this team and how it's improved, because you are actually a really fun team to watch.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I got the job on June 4th and had to put a staff together, and feel very blessed to have this opportunity again to be here. And I know the community a little bit and have worked in the district all this time. So we've really been able to get together, got some guys back on the staff that, we have 9 guys in the building right now on our staff. So I feel really lucky that we have those guys, and really fortunate to have those guys on the staff. So our football players see a lot of football coaches throughout the day. So we've really worked hard to try to learn each other, get to know each other, and that having the guys on the staff really helps for that. And the kids have done a good job. The players have done a good job of working and learning how we coach and how I coach, and I'm trying to figure out how they learn and all of that. So we've been really working hard since June.
Yeah, Coach, I want to talk to you about kind of the state of your team and how you're feeling through 7 weeks, because even a couple of these losses, you lost to Middletown. They're right at the top of the GMC. It was only 14-9. Lakota East, that's a well-coached team, only 14-7. Even in a couple of your losses, you guys are playing well, and now you've won out three games in a row. You got to be feeling good about your team 7 weeks in.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out how to work together, and I think our guys are playing really hard. We make our mistakes. We made mistakes tonight, and I coached bad at times as well. So they got to cover for me. We're just like all the teams right now. Everybody's a little beat up. We have to figure out how to play through that as well. So we really feel good about what we've done. I wish we would have been able to pull out a couple of those close games, and that we had early. And I think it would have been, we'd be sitting here talking, really well about that. But our kids are doing a great job of working and playing and learning our systems and really buying into what we're trying to do.
Well, let's talk about some of your players that had big nights tonight. The transfer from Taylor, Aaron McFarland, throws for a touchdown, runs for a touchdown, and also catches a touchdown. This kid's versatility, what's it mean to you to have a kid like that you can line him up wherever and you seem like he's going to produce for you?
Yeah, I think it's been really fun watching Aaron grow and develop into the player that he has on our team. I know that he was kind of used to doing things the Taylor way, and now he's really bought into doing it our way, and he's been really fun to watch as he's gotten adjusted to what we're doing, how we do it. I think we have a lot of guys, have done that as well. So it's been fun watching him make plays and catching the ball and running the ball and, doing all of that. So it's been really fun to watch that. He's been doing a really good job of having, trying to be a positive influence. It's a little easier when you're making big plays to be positive. So he's been doing a great job doing that.
Yeah, we're talking to head coach Dan Scholes from Oak Hills. They just won tonight 48-10, improving to 4-3 on the season. And coach, when looking at this game tonight, you guys are really good on the money downs, right? You were 1 for 1 on 4th down and 2 for 3 on 3rd downs. You guys are moving the chains. Talk to me about how you feel about your team situationally, right? It's a game, you took care of business, but with some of the big games coming up, it's always good to improve in those big downs.
Absolutely. We need to do a little better job defensively on long yardage plays. We seem to give up those a little bit more as a defensive guy. And we need to work on that a little bit. But yeah, I think our offensive guys have done a good job in getting our guys in the right spots to be able to make plays. And, and again, the kids still make plays. Coaches try to teach and do that, but the kids got to go out and make plays. And they seem to be doing that, and they seem to understand the importance of that. We try to stress that in practice a little bit. And make sure we understand down and distance and all that when we script our plays for practice. So it's that's an important part of understanding, situationally. And hopefully we can continue to get better at that.
Dan, one last question before we let you go. You've had some time off between your last head coaching job and this one. And, I see you over there on the sidelines at Princeton every year and in between as an assistant coach. But have you taken anything from your last coaching stint to now when you got this one? Is there anything that you've taken in between these two stints that you've learned that you maybe value a little bit more now?
Oh, for sure. I tell you what, I love those guys at Princeton. I love Coach Parker. And, I learned a lot about how he dealt with players. He's a master at dealing with players. And so I've learned a lot about how to do that. I think I've kind of said to some people, I'm trying to be kinder and gentler. I've kind of let some things go that I typically wouldn't have let go before. Whether, just some things that I've learned from him and definitely how to work with players a little bit. I'm still hard-headed when it comes to some things, and I need to continue to get better at that. I'm not as good as him at that set of things, but for sure have learned a lot from just being around guys and watching how they coach and what they do. And when you're an assistant, you're trying to make sure that the head coach's job is as easy as possible. So I kept looking at what can I do to help make this easier for him, and how would I do this? And really have taken a lot of lessons from my time with him, and really working hard and talking with, assistants. When you're the head coach, sometimes you don't hear what the assistants say, but when you're assistant, you understand that, you hear a little bit. So I kind of was able to take some notes on how I should do things if I ever became a head coach and really wanted to be a head coach. And so been able to feel really good about being able to do that.
Yeah, that's head coach Dan Scholes from Oak Hills. Again, a big win tonight, 48-10 over Sycamore. Coach, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to us about that big win tonight. We always love talking to you. We always love catching up. Best of luck moving forward. Again, congratulations, and I'm sure we'll talk soon, all right?
I appreciate that very much. And again, thank you guys so much for promoting our sport and doing all the stuff that you do for high school sports.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye.
And Greg, look,
that's good stuff.
They play a good schedule, right?
Yeah.
They're playing well, right?
Right.
They've won 3 games in a row. Even in the games, that they lost, like I told Coach, they played well. They're playing well this year.
Yeah, and they got some talent. It's been a while since they've had this much talent. We didn't talk about the Cordell Ball kid tonight. He had a big night as well as Aaron McFarland, but he's another athletic kid. 5 catches tonight, 177 yards, 3 touchdowns. I think he had a couple more yards on kickoffs, and so he was around 200 all-purpose yards for sure.
Absolutely. Greg, while we're in the GMC, we might as well reel off some scores, right? Let's head to the Underground Sports Shop scoreboard, right? You can access the Underground Sports Shop scoreboard. Just head to tristatefootball.com/scores, and you can see all the scores from the tri-state area. Coming up from the cream of the crop, Greg, how about the 4th-ranked team in our Blitz 5 Top 25, Princeton? They were taking on Hamilton. They won tonight by a score of 28-16. And then some other games around the GMC. A really close game that came down to the wire was number 17, Mason, taking on number 18, Fairfield. Fairfield ended up winning that game 14-13. Mason went for a 2-point conversion in overtime, but they were stopped at the goal line.
Wow.
So Fairfield does win that game. Middletown was taking on Lakota East tonight. That was 14-16. Middletown 16, Lakota East 14, and Middletown with a 27-6 win there. And then Lakota West was taking on the Colerain Cardinals. The Cardinals got their first win last week, right? And I think about 21 or 22 games, and Lakota West takes care of business there. It was 48-9. So, Greg, anything standing out to you in those big GMC games?
Yeah, like we were talking before, Lakota East, we were sort of like, which team is coming to play tonight? And for them to lose to Middletown tonight, I thought it was going to be a much closer game. Middletown, hats off after last week's first loss of the year at West. But, I just, when I look at that East team, sometimes they play really well, sometimes they don't. And look at Fairfield. Fairfield with Justin Roden, the old Oak Hills head coach, doing good things. Hats off, because when the season started, I didn't think Oak Hills or Fairfield was going to be in the situation they are now, playing well. They're right in the middle of the pack of this thing. And, right now it looks like Princeton and Middletown is the 1 and 2 teams as this thing moves forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that wild card team right now, who usually isn't a wild card team in the GMC, is Lakota West. Right?
Yeah,
they beat Middletown, who's sitting at the top of the GMC, right? They just took care of business with Colerain, right? And when they're playing, especially offensively, when they can get their groove on, there may not be a more dangerous team than Lakota West.
No, absolutely right. And tonight, Jackson Smith threw 3 touchdowns and had a nice night, 8 for 12 for 179 yards. And everybody they spread the wealth a little bit. They're still not running the ball. We talked last week. 22 carries tonight, only minus 17 yards rushing. And when you have Kenyon Norman there and he can't get any yards, you got to really work some things around, and Jackson Smith was able to get it done tonight for him.
Yeah, absolutely, Greg. And before we take a quick break, I do want to talk about one of our top 10 teams. Let's head to the CMAC, right? Because we got a historical start, well, I guess going in, 7-0 for the first time in program history, right? Head coach Tyler Williams and the Taft Senators, they dominated tonight. I believe they kicked off a little early, so this game has been final for a little bit. They took care of business against Hughes 41-0, right? A week after they dominated Withrow, right? It was 39-0, Greg. This defense they've stifled 2 straight opponents, back-to-back shutouts. This team is just talent-laden all over the field coming off that state championship game last year. Coach Williams has these guys playing with their hair on fire.
4 straight shutouts now for the Taft Senators. Yeah, they are rocking and rolling. The week before that, they gave up 7 to Chaminade. There were actually 5 shutouts in the year. They shut out Jeffersonville in the first game. But yeah, they're fast. They've got they got 10 guys on a Division IV team with Division I scholarships. So, and they all look. I mean, I don't want to say they all look the same, but they're all sort of built between 5'10" and 6'1", and they all look like they're 225 pounds, and they can run like the wind. They can cover some ground. Tyler does a great job with that program, and they are a legit shot. I think they have a legit shot to win the state championship.
Absolutely. They're going to be there right at the end, and we'll talk more about them as we go. It's 10 o'clock, and we aren't even close to tired yet, right? We still have another hour talking all things high school football in the tri-state area. It's Safon Ulvey. It's Greg Shoemaker, TriStateFootball.com. You're watching or listening to the High School Football Tonight Show on ESPN 1530 and Fox Sports 1360.
Charlie Clifford with Blitz 5 Football.
All right, what's the plan here?
What else to tell you? It's Moeller and St. X, and Jackson Fry and Matt Ponatowski are going to duel to figure out who steals this chapter of the rivalry. Pre-game tailgate, 5 o'clock on News 5, 11 o'clock in studio, WLWT Blitz 5. Full highlights and reaction. Plenty other great games around. We'll see you for Week 5.
For over 20 years, the Underground Sports Shop has been the local favorite for sports teams, fans, and businesses who are looking for quality products with prices they can afford. From uniforms and sports gear to fan apparel and promotional items, we take pride in providing you with the customized products you need and the service you deserve. To place an order, visit us online at theundergroundsportsshop.com or call us at 513-751-1662. That's the Underground Sports Shop, showcasing pride on and off the field.
Mela Services has been your one-stop shop for window and carpet cleaning for over 15 years. We've built a reputation for excellence with thorough, responsive, and dependable service. Mela's proud of our
All right, I will try.
Google ranking because it means we've delivered excellent service to our customers over and over again. So let us put our award-winning team of cleaning experts to work for you. Check us out at melaservices.com/football.
For over 20 years, the Underground Sports Shop has been the local favorite for sports teams, fans, and businesses who are looking for quality products with prices they can afford. From uniforms and sports gear to fan apparel and promotional items, we take pride in providing you with the customized products you need and the service you deserve.
If he doesn't answer, who should I try after that?
Fine at theundergroundsportsshop.com or call us at 513-751-1662. That's the Underground Sports Shop, showcasing pride on and off the field.
Hey, want to hear something great? Right now at Wendy's, you can get 2 of the #1 selling bacon cheeseburger in all.
He did not answer.
C plus medium fries and a medium soft drink for just $8. Want to hear something else great? Double the burger means double the bacon. Now,
stand by.
2 of the #1 bacon cheeseburgers with fries and a drink for just $8. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Request $8 JBC meal deal to obtain discount. Individual items at regular price.
Welcome back in. We appreciate you hanging with us. ESPN 1530, Fox Sports 1360, the TriStateFootball.com team here. Safon Ulvey, Greg Shoemaker. We appreciate everyone hanging out. Adeline McCullum and Haley Valadingham from TGIFfootball.com. And then we also have Joe Waddell hanging with us with the P's and Q's producing our show. We appreciate you guys. TriStateFootball.com has all the scores and updates from across the tri-state area. And High School Football Tonight is brought to you in part by AE Door and Window Company. They sell the best and service the rest. Thomas More University. Accelerate your career with a business degree from Thomas More University, and Penn Station. Hometown love in every sub. Greg, going right back to the Underground Sports Shop scoreboard. Let's talk about some of our Eastern Indiana teams, right, Greg? We had some big dominating games over there. We saw East Central and Lawrenceburg taking care of business, and hopefully later in the show we can actually talk to head coach Ryan Kindiga from the Lawrenceburg Tigers. Both of those teams, Greg, are playing well, both dominating performance tonight. They were both on a running clock. Any thoughts on Lawrenceburg and East Central as they continue to roll on their schedule?
No, both of those teams have been playing, every year Lawrenceburg goes on these rolls after losing the opener to East Central. They're back on one of those rolls again. Crew Gilmore, their quarterback's been fantastic, and they got a very good defense, and they're playing like Lawrenceburg normally does after week 1. It's just the best thing to ever watch. It's just crazy. I think it's 5-6 times in the last 7-8 years that they've won 11 in a row after losing the opener. So, and we're getting down to the nitty gritty of football here in in Indiana, because we start the playoffs here in a couple of weeks. So they're rolling.
Absolutely. East Central was actually taking on Connorsville tonight, right? East Central won that game 63-0. And the last time we checked, Lawrenceburg was playing Rushville, and they were also winning that game 63-0 late in the fourth quarter. So obviously, we're going to assume they went ahead and won that matchup. Greg, let's go to the Bluegrass State, right? Let's talk some Northern Kentucky football, right? We had some big games going on. The inaugural season, right, of the St. Henry team over there in Kentucky. They were taking on Owen County, and Greg, they've won their second consecutive game. 40-12, St. Henry taking down Owen County. Caden Kunstek had 2 rushing touchdowns. Talk to me about this inaugural team. They've won 2 in a row. They're feeling pretty good about themselves.
And Dan Klaskins was telling me today that game, played last night on Thursday night, and he was like, you know what, they're in the playoffs now. They're 2-5 or 2-4, whatever they are, but they're in the playoffs because they've got 2 district wins that'll keep them out of being eliminated as the 5th team in that district. So, yeah, good stuff there for St. Henry's. Tim Odom's done a great job. He said it would take him a little while, but it's a program. It's a school where the other programs know how to win. So the kids that are going to come through this football program have won in other sports there at St. Henry's. So I don't think it's going to be but a matter of time before we start seeing them up there as a small school threat to schools are up there with Newcath and a Beechwood. Now Beechwood right now is so elite though at the small school level.
Absolutely. And some other games going on in Northern Kentucky, another ranked team in our Blitz 5 top 25. How about number 20 Cooper? Right, a team that, Greg, they are getting their swagger back. It was a tough start to the season, but again, with a variable that they played a very, very tough schedule, right? It was a gauntlet of a schedule, and now all of a sudden Cooper is playing really well. They were taking on Dixie Heights tonight. Cooper with a 42-13 dominating win right there. Keegan Maher became the Jags' all-time leading rusher in this game. And then Cam O'Hara also passed 10K career passing yards. So there was a lot of history.
Wow.
Yep, absolutely. In this game, Cam O'Hara, 10K passing yards. And again, Keegan Maher, the Jags' all-time leading rusher now. So, Greg, there was a lot of history made in this game, but Cooper gets the dominating victory. And, Greg, here come the Jaguars. They're playing their best ball of the season.
Yeah, well, they've won 4 of their last 5. Their last 2, they put up 91 points. They outscored their 2 opponents 91-27. So, they're playing well. They got Scott and Boone County and Simon Kenton to end it out. This team could very well end up 5 wins in a row to get into the playoffs. And, again, there's no Highlands this year in Class 5A for them to get through again. So, could be a very interesting run here for Randy Borchers and those Jaguars.
Absolutely. Some other games going on in Northern Kentucky. We had Newport Central Catholic taking on Campbell County. Newport Central Catholic with a 28-21 victory there. Boone County was taking on Connor, and Connor with a big 53-14 win there. Grayson Montgomery had 2 passing touchdowns, rushing touchdowns, and obviously, Greg, we know Connor's playing, with some heavy hearts this year, right? Head coach Dave Trosper, he is in our thoughts, and his family continues to be in our thoughts and feelings, and it's really good to see Connor, playing some good football as of late, right? They struggled early on because there was a big transition period, but good to see them get a big win tonight.
It was. 53 points for them. That's big. They haven't been scoring a lot of points against some schools that they, that they just been a little bit overmatched with. But, again, there's another team. They got Dixie Heights. Oh, they won tonight over Dixie Heights, right?
Correct. Cooper won against Dixie Heights.
I'm sorry.
Tonight.
Okay, so they had, so they got Dixie Heights next week, and then they
Connor
got
beat Boone County tonight.
Yeah,
Connor beat Boone County.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they got Dixie and Scott coming up. So there's another couple. They could put a couple wins together and feel good about themselves headed toward the playoffs. And Henry Clay, I think that's their last game, and I think Henry Clay right now is not very good this year. So they got a chance to run the table and again, feel good about themselves going in. Good job by Noel Rash and keeping these guys focused on the task at hand.
Absolutely. Holy Cross, they were taking on Frankfurt. Holy Cross pitches a shutout, winning 39-0 in that game. Greg, Holy Cross is playing some really good football as well.
They had never been 4-0 in their school history. Now they're 6-0. And for the first time, we had Kurt Spencer on in the pregame portion of the show. You can hear that on Spotify.com and in search box Tri-State Football Podcast. So, look, it's an awesome time to be at Holy Cross. They got some players over there. They're young. They only have 7 seniors, he was telling us, and a bunch of sophomores and juniors playing a lot of snaps for them. it's good to see them doing well.
Absolutely. And Greg, since we're talking Northern Kentucky, we got to go over this game at least a couple times. The ranked matchup between Covington Catholic and Highlands, a game that came down to the wire, one of the best games you will see all year. Highlands with a 31-28 victory. Again, Rio Littmer hit Tatum Lorenzen with an 18-yard touchdown with 3 seconds to go. These teams literally traded scores back and forth, traded leads back and forth, Greg, but Highlands with a big and fun win over Covington Catholic.
Yeah, Littmer finishes the night 14 for 19 passing for 175 yards and a touchdown. As far as Tatum Lorenzen goes, that was his only catch of the night for the touchdown. And then on the other side of the ball, it was all about Cash Harney and his toughness tonight, but he was held. He threw for 227, but he only ran for 3 yards, which is kind of crazy for Harney on 12 carries. But he did have that late touchdown that was big. Geyser had 8 carries for 88 yards, average 11 a carry on those 8 carries, and a really tough night for everybody all the way around in that game. It was a night to. It was a great amount of football by two teams that were ranked at very, very high for sure.
Absolutely. A very, very fun game there. I do want to jump back over to Southwest Ohio, talk a little small school action. And how about an interconference matchup, right, Greg? Talking the SBAAC taking on the Miami Valley Conference. And we also have a team that is still undefeated, right? Williamsburg was taking on Roger Bacon tonight. Williamsburg wins that game 27-13. And Greg, Williamsburg is 7-0, undefeated through 7 games.
They've really played well, and this is a big win. I thought for sure, Roger Bacon and Northwest were two teams tonight that I had upset radars, and I thought that Bacon could come out ahead against this Williamsburg team, and well, no, it didn't happen. Williamsburg is running up some points on this board, and again, I was talking about the other game. I'll go over that one too, and that's the Talawanda beating Northwest tonight. That ended up 35-3. Talawanda is now sitting at 7-0. For the first time in at least since 1991, maybe even longer than that. But 279 yards by Talawanda tonight. Lance Cantrell continues to do it. He had 176 and 3 touchdowns tonight, giving him 23 touchdowns on the year and almost 2,700, if not 2,700 yards rushing. He's real close.
Yeah, Greg, he's one of the leading rushers in the entire nation.
Yeah.
Right. I saw a story that I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he's one of the top 10 rushers in the entire country through the first 6 games, and now it's going to be through 7. So what a historic season we're witnessing from that young man.
And this school, great job by Andy Stuckert over there. They just keep on winning. They came into the night. They haven't beaten a team all season with more than 3 wins. Northwest was that team tonight. Everybody they had beaten up to this point had only won 1 or 2 games. So, Talawanda Harrison coming up. That could be the game. I think that's next week at Talawanda. I have to take a look real quick at the schedule.
Yeah, last time I saw, I think Harrison was winning their game as well. I believe
Harrison ended up winning that one too. So 51-13, and your SWAC teams next week it will be Harrison versus Talawanda for the SWAC title. Should be a good one. I think that's going to be a high-scoring affair. Both these teams can light up the scoreboard really, really quickly. And Preston Flick for Harrison tonight, 10 carries, 125 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, a game to look out for sure, Greg. I'm going to reel off some real small schools, right? Some D6, D7 schools, and you kind of tell me what stands out to you. CCPA was taking on Dayton Christian tonight. CCPA with a 44-7 victory. Fayetteville Perry was taking on Norwood. Norwood with a 32-24 win there. Summit Country Day was taking on North College Hill. Summit Country Day wins that game 44-14, handing North College Hill their first loss of the season, right? North College Hill was undefeated going into that game. St. Bernard Elmwood Place was taking on Gamble Montessori. St. Bernard Elmwood Place pitching a shutout there, 42-0. Purcell Marion blanked New Miami, 49-8. Cincinnati Country Day took on MBCA. Cincinnati Country Day wins 49-6 there. Wyoming took it to Madeira tonight, 42-14. And then Taylor versus Reading. This was a real fun game tonight as well. Taylor with a 35-28 win there. Greg, anything stand out with those small schools?
Yeah, St. Bernard Elmwood Place has won 6 in a row now. They're playing very, very well. We thought they'd be a team that would win 8, 9, 10 games this year. Summit Country Day, shocking, 5-2 now. 3-game winning streak for them. Big win over North College Hill. North College Hill, like you said, their first loss of the year, and they were playing great defensively too. So hats off to Summit because Mark Hafner over there is doing a good job with that team. They were in the dumps when he took that program over, and he's sort of got it rebounded 5-2, and they got some games coming up. Roger Bacon, Purcell, and CHCA. Let's see how they finish out. But that was awesome tonight.
Yeah, some other small schools going around the Southwest Ohio area. Bethel Tate was taking on East Clinton. Bethel Tate with a 47-13 win there. Clinton Massey, right, head coach McSorley just keeps on doing his thing up there. They were taking on Wilmington and dominated that game 38-7. Batavia was taking on Western Brown. Western Brown wins that game 28-14. And Goshen was taking on New Richmond. New Richmond winning that game 41-35. So one of the big barn burners of the night up there. And then Franklin was taking on Bellbrook. Franklin with a 21-7 win there. Greg, anything?
Wow.
Yep, yeah, 21-7. Yep,
Over
Franklin
Bellbrook,
over
yeah.
Bellbrook, right?
That's a good win. I think that's their first of the year. No, I don't know, but that good for Brad Childers. Hats off to Nick Osborne and the Western Brown Broncos. First win of the year, knocking off Batavia. Batavia is one of those teams that had a great year last year, and they've just been in a funk this year. They just can't get it rocking and rolling at all. Not like they did last year when they were putting up points on the board like there was no tomorrow.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We still got head coaches to talk to. You know, we're going to hand out some game balls at the end, right? And we're going to run through that Underground Sports Shop scoreboard as well. We're just getting started on the High School Football Tonight show powered by TriStateFootball.com on Cincinnati's ESPN 1530 and Fox Sports 1360.
Hey, you kids look.
Hey, I kept ringing him, but he did not answer. So do you want me to keep trying him, or do you want to move on to someone else?
This month, put no money down and get 0% interest for 2 years. Plus, take 5% off your total order when you combine and save on entry doors and windows from Provia and Pella, Summer Space Awnings, and Clopay Garage Doors, and up to $125 off your new LiftMaster opener.
Find out more at AE Doors.
Osborne, then Niederman. Got it.
We've been doing our own thing for more than 50 years at Gold Star. All so you can do your own thing. The Coney thing, the veggie thing, the fries thing, the juicy flat top burger thing, the cheesy, crunchy, wrapped up in a tortilla can't believe this is a thing. It's not what you'd expect from a neighborhood chili parlor, and we think that's a good thing. At Gold Star, you're invited to come as you are, like what you like, and follow your own recipe.
Mela Services has been your one-stop shop for window and carpet cleaning for over 15 years.
All right, Coach Osborne's on.
Excellence with thorough, responsive, and dependable service. Mela's proud of our 4.9 out of 5-star Google ranking because it means we've delivered excellent service to our customers over and over again. So let us put our award-winning team of cleaning experts to work for you. Check us out at melaservices.com/football.
We've been doing our own thing for more than 50 years at Gold Star. All so you can do your own thing. The Coney thing, the veggie thing, the fries thing, the juicy flat top burger thing, the cheesy, crunchy, wrapped up in a tortilla can't believe this is a thing. It's not what you'd expect from a neighborhood chili parlor, and we think that's a good thing. At Gold Star, you're invited to come as you are, like what you like, and follow your own recipe.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with AutoPay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 and monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Stand by.
Heat the Ghost Pepper Cheesesteak. Premium steak, provolone, and fiery ghost pepper cheese. Only here through November. Get it before it vanishes. Visit Penn Station or order on our website or app. Penn Station. Love your sub. You craving what I'm craving?
All right, we're having fun. It's the High School Football Tonight show here on Cincinnati's ESPN 1530 and Fox Sports 1360. Safwan Alvi and Greg Shoemaker from TriStateFootball.com. A big thank you goes to our sponsors here at TriStateFootball.com. Without them, none of this would be possible, so we want to thank them so much. Give them a shout out as well. Some of our partners are Gold Star Chili. Follow your own recipe. Mellow Window and Carpet Cleaning, the best in residential cleaning services, and the Underground Sports Shop, showcasing pride on and off the field. All right, Greg, as we love to talk those winning coaches, we have another winning coach on the line with us talking some SBAAC football with Western Brown head coach Nick Osborne. They pick up their first win of the season with a 28-14 win. Coach, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. And look, we know it's been a little bit of a trying season, but your boys, your players show a lot of fight, and especially tonight with that big win. Talk to me about how awesome it is to really get that monkey off your back and get that first win.
Yeah, it's huge. We started off the season with 3 guys out early on, and then the Martin RPI came out. We played the second toughest schedule, all of Division III behind Toledo Central Catholic, and our non-conference is brutal. And we've been in every game up until third quarter, fourth quarter, and we just haven't been able to finish a full game. And we were able to do that tonight. Get up 28-0 and give up a couple scores there in the fourth, and get a good drive. But I think the biggest thing is just seeing the smile on the kids' faces. Knowing how hard they've worked and the adversity they've had this year, and honestly, we're 4 to 5 plays away from being minimum of 3-3, and if we can put a full game together, we're a really good team.
Nick, talk about the challenges. You've had so much good success there. You haven't had a lot of moments like this where you've gone through a funk like this. Talk about the challenges as a coach and what you and your staff have to do to make sure that these kids are still focused on trying to get through this season and be better each week.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, we have a lot of young guys playing in some crucial spots. We're starting a sophomore quarterback, so he's going to go through his struggles. Just like every sophomore quarterback does throughout the whole tri-state, and he's getting better each week. He shows flashes where he can be the league, the SBC Player of the Year. He's going to continue to get better, and that's the biggest thing that we just try to tell our kids and staff is how can we keep it simple, what are we really good at, master what we're really good at, and continue to build off that each week. And last week we let one slip away. It was 7-7.5, and then 21-7 going in the fourth. And our kids know we've been in every single game. We haven't been able to execute to our standard, and our kids know that. And when we practice, we have to keep preaching. We have to be better execution wise, and we did that really, really well for 3 quarters tonight.
Yeah, Coach, I want to talk to you about that defense, right? They played really well tonight, right? We know it's been a trying year for that unit, but I know you got to be really proud of those guys against Batavia, right? 28-14 win there. Talk to me about that unit and how proud you are with them and how they stepped up tonight.
Yeah, it was huge being able to shut down Marcus. Hugh Banks, one of the best receivers in the tri-state. Being able to double team him, be physical with him, and play coverage over top. And I think he had 3 catches all night, or 2 catches, for maybe 20 yards, maybe. So that was a big emphasis this week, and just trying to get our athletes the ball in space. And we missed a couple shots, down the field, but that's going to come with time. Defensively, played really, really well. Ty Spalding played really well tonight. Dre Mitchell locking down. They're not as going against Marcus Eubanks. So it was huge. It was huge for our defense and a big confidence booster heading into next week.
Nick, you talk about the SBAAC American Division with you guys, Clinton Massey, Goshen, Wilmington, New Richmond, and Batavia. You get to see a bunch of different styles, the smash mouth style of Clinton Massey, the throwing style of Batavia. How fun is it as a coach to go up against so many different styles on a weekly basis?
Well, it's not fun at times, just trying to adjust to it all. Massey's Massey, the wishbone and line up in the bone and, run it down your throat. You go to New Richmond, Pitzer, run it really well, spread it out, chuck it deep. And, Goshen now, is getting more of a read option team out of spread. So it's definitely a wide variety, and it's definitely challenging, to prepare for every week and, new defense every single week, trying to get that game plan. It's been tough, but, that's what makes this game so great. And, just grateful for the opportunity. I think our league's wide open this year. I really do. There's, Massey's at the top right now, and now it's everyone's trying to catch Massey now and see, who can knock them off before the end of the year.
We're chatting with head coach Nick Osborne from Western Brown as they pick up a 28-14 win over Batavia today. And Coach, especially talking about some of your, your juniors and your sophomores who might be playing some varsity ball, and hopefully they got a couple years left. And when winning a game like this, right, is this maybe kind of like a statement win, or maybe like a program building win, especially with those young guys who haven't had a lot of experience, right? After the first couple weeks it was tough, but you guys win a game, you guys played well. Is this something you guys could build on, especially with those young guys?
Yeah, it's huge, and like we've been preaching to our kids. You go look at our non-conference schedule. Other than Hillsboro, everyone that we've played has had multiple Division I athletes and Division I commits or offers. Even last week with Wilmington, they have a ton of speed. They're super athletic. They're not the biggest team, but they make up for that in speed and athleticism. You got Marcus Eubanks tonight. The Ohio commit, and it's not. And that's why I tell our kids it's not like we're playing, a soft schedule. I think we've played the hardest schedule in our league. I really do. Non-conference wise, and this is going to make them better for the future. And that's what me and our AD, Mr. Tim Cook, talk about all the time. If you want to make a playoff run, these are the teams that we have to beat, and we have to. That's our measuring stick right now.
Again, that's head coach Nick Osborne from Western Brown. Coach, I want to thank you so much for joining us. Again, congratulations on a big win tonight. We're happy for you. We always love talking to you. We always love catching up and talking Western Brown football. Again, congratulations on the win, and we'll talk soon. All right.
Awesome. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.
Appreciate it, Coach. And
That's
Greg,
good stuff, man.
Greg, you got to start somewhere, right? Again, it's been a trying year, but you win a game like that, right? And that's why I wanted to talk to him about those young guys, right? Get a win, start building a foundation, right? And something that it's not perfect right now, but you got to start somewhere, and that's a building block right there.
It just shows you, how fragile streaks and winning seasons can be, and all of a sudden, poof, they're gone. You string together a run like he has had over at Western Brown, and to lose like this, it's just not common for him. But it happens, man. It happens. Look how fast Colerain fell off the face of the earth. It's just nuts.
Yeah, my alma mater finally won their first game last week for the first time, and head coach Jordan Streams will believe. And Greg, I was actually talking to you about Colerain before we went on the air. Like that quarterback, that young man, he's got a cannon for an arm.
He's going to be something. I think he's going to have the next couple of years are going to be pretty sweet. Yeah,
and because we've seen head coach Jordan Stephen develop some quarterbacks over the past couple of years, so. Colerain's a team to look out for.
Good call for that. Yeah. He does develop some quarterbacks.
Absolutely. And Greg, I do want to talk about some games that happened actually a couple days ago, right? On October 2nd, we did talk about St. Henry getting that win against Owen County. We had Ludlow taking on Trimble County. Again, this was October 2nd. Ludlow winning that game 27-8. Clark Montessori was taking on Schroeder. Schroeder winning that game 36-26. Christian Hutchinson had two receiving touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. So a big game for him. Blanchester was taking on Claremont Northeastern. Blanchester with a 36-6 win there. And then Lockland was taking on Belmont. Belmont dominates that game 38-6. Greg, anything sticking out to you with those small schools right there?
No, those Thursday night games. Schroeder's a team that they went 7-4 last year. I'm a little surprised at where they're sitting at in the standings right now. I think they've struggled to get to 500. I don't even think they're there yet. I think they're still 3-4. But they're a team that I thought was going to play better this year. A team that you look at them and go, they had some kids coming back that were going to be pretty good. But we'll see. It's still a few weeks left. They could still turn this thing around.
Absolutely, Greg. I do want to jump over to the ECC, right? We have a bunch of ranked teams, top teams in the ECC. How about the third-ranked Anderson Raptors, right? They were taking on Turpin. Anderson dominating that game 58-16. We had number 8 Winton Woods taking on Loveland. Winton Woods wins a defensive battle there, right? Nothing new, 19-10 there. And then Kings, they were taking on Little Miami, and Kings with a 14-21 game. That was a close game as well, Greg. What's standing out to you with the top echelon of the ECC?
Loveland, they're playing everybody pretty tight. They're not winning. Bob Mullins in his first year over there, they're playing some stuff, but they've always played, for some reason, they played Winton Woods really well. I don't know why. It just is a matchup that they seem to feel comfortable in. Lebanon, they won again tonight over Milford, 37-21. They're still having a pretty good season. They're a team a little undersized, but they play hard. They have a lot of senior leadership. They could make a little bit of a run there. I think they're in Division I Region 2, so that Region 2 is a mess right now. Middletown's up, they're sitting at number 2. They might be back up at number 1. I didn't see what Troy did. They were sitting at number 1 in the computer rankings there, but That's all the GWalk teams, and I think Springboro and Lebanon are in that, as well as Middletown.
Yeah, even like you kind of call them like the bottom tiers of the ECC, Greg. They're good teams, right?
Oh,
These
yeah.
are teams that play you tough, right? The Kings game against, it was a
Little
one-possession game.
Miami, yeah.
Little Miami against one of the best, defensive teams in the ECC.
Nate's got those kids in his first year. Nate Mahan's got those kids playing pretty hard, even though it's not much like Nick Osborne over at Western Brown. It's not showing up in the stats or the win column, but eventually it will.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We have so much to talk to. Our number one team in the ranking goes down. We have a barn burner historic game over in Northern Kentucky, some dominating teams over in Eastern Indiana as well. Again, we got so much more to get to. Hopefully talk to some head coaches as well and hand out some game balls on the High School Football Tonight show powered by TriStateFootball.com on ESPN 1530 and Fox Sports 1360.
Penn Station is turning up Ghost Pepper Steak, premium and fiery Ghost Pepper.
Yeah, I saw that. Do you want me to get him for this segment? Yeah, let's try to get him. Cool.
Website or app. Penn Station. Love your sub. You craving what I'm craving?
Dave the door guy with overhead.
Do you want me to prioritize one over the other? Maybe Ramsey?
The day. Why did
Okay.
play wide receiver for the football team? Because it was always open. For more jokes and unsurpassed garage door service, give us a call at 513-347-DOOR or visit OHDNKY.com. That's OHDNKY.com.
Make it more at Thomas More University. Our Saints Essential program is designed with you in mind. Enjoy all-access dining plans, easy parking, and more included with your tuition. Visit campus and schedule now at thomasmore.edu.
Hey, want to hear something great? Right now at Wendy's, you can get 2 of the #1 selling bacon cheeseburger in all fast food, the JBC, plus medium fries and a medium soft drink for just $8.
All right, Ramsey's on the line.
Great. Double the burger means double the bacon. Now that's a game changer. 2 of the #1 bacon cheeseburgers with fries and a drink for just $8. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Request $8 JBC meal deal to obtain discount. Individual items at regular price.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on.
And who is our the other one you wanted me to? Trace Reynolds. Okay.
They're
Do you want me to do what we tried to do last time, just halfway through Ramsey, try to get Reynolds on? Correct. Okay.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vapor.
Okay.
Fun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
For 10 years, families have trusted Kelsey Chevrolet. Now we're driving forward with a new look, the same promise, and more ways to deliver peace of mind. Visit us today and experience the difference. From our family to yours, KelseyChev.com.
Yeah, if I can get Coach Reynolds on, the only thing I'd ask is if we're able to do both is just give me like 30 seconds after Ramsey to transition so I can make a new audio file so I can record both interviews.
Sure.
Okay. Appreciate that.
5 o'clock on News 5, 11 o'clock in studio, WLWT Blitz 5. Full highlights and reaction. Plenty other great games around. We'll see you for week 5.
Penn Station.
All right, stand by, gentlemen.
For cheesesteak, premium steak, provolone, and fiery ghost pepper cheese. Only here through November. Get it before it vanishes. Visit Penn Station or order on our website or app. Penn Station. Love your sub. You craving what I'm craving?
All right, welcome back in. High School Football Tonight show, powered by TriStateFootball.com, Cincinnati's ESPN 1530 and Fox Sports 1360. Safwan Ulvi and Greg Shoemaker, TriStateFootball.com. Greg, and we are excited to be joined by the head coach of the winning team of the biggest matchup so far, arguably of the year, right? It was #1 versus #2 at the West Side, at the Pit. Elder taking on Moeller. Elder with a 24-16 win. Now winners of the GCL South. We have head coach Doug Ramsey on the line with us to talk about that win. Coach, I want to thank you so much for joining us. And even before we talk about this game, it was a sold-out house tonight. Literally, it was a sold-out house tonight. Talk to me about the atmosphere and kind of how it was just feeling going into that game, even before it started and throughout the game.
Well, it was like it used to be, back in the early 2000s when people didn't sit at home and watch games that were being streamed and those kinds of things. People got out to the game tonight, and the atmosphere was was great. I know I was just talking to our trainer, and he was saying that the trainer at Moeller has been there for 40 years, and he said it's the loudest high school football game he's ever been at. So it was just a great atmosphere.
It is so funny because being out there tonight and seeing, I thought the same thing. It's like, man, I always felt like it was always crowded in the early 2000s, back when you had Mark Millers and the Glathars of the world. And I was like, it was just an amazing night. And I thought your guys came out and they handled the pressure. And man, Derek Oran was setting his tone early in that game on defense. Let's just start there on that side of the ball, because you guys were really, after that first drive, fantastic.
Yeah, our defense was. The kids did a great job. They were physical, and we were just talking about the stats in there. We held them to 52 yards rushing. We had 3 sacks, and I think we got them called for. There was a lot of holding calls, but both teams got called for about 5 holding calls. But we were just getting pressure, and we were making life really hard for Ponatowski.
Yeah, Coach, and one young man I want to talk about, and Caden Estep gets a lot of the attention, right, and rightfully so. He's awesome. But the young man tonight, Jackson Ruth, he had an awesome game tonight in back-to-back games with over 100 yards. Against St. X, he had 107 tonight, 9 receptions, 139 yards, was averaging 15 yards a catch, and he had 2 touchdowns. Talk to me about this young man, the senior, and how important he is to this offense and this team.
He's very important. He's what, 5'8", 150 pounds or whatever he is, and pound for pound, he's the toughest guy on our team. You ask him to block somebody, he blocks them. You ask him to run routes, whatever it is, he does it. He does it as hard as he can. If you had 22 of him running around all the time, you'd be in really good shape. He's just an old throwback football player.
You've had some great teams here, Doug, at Elder, and this one, though, when I say team, I mean, it seems like you get performances out of everybody. Tommy, we were sitting here talking about Jackson Ruth, but, Walpole has 5 catches for 70 yards. Becker's got 70 yards. You talk about everybody getting their hands in with the sacks. I mean, as a team, is this one of the, most cohesive groups you had? Because it seems like in any given night, a lot of guys step up. Not just any one person, a lot of guys step up.
Yeah, I think that's what's special about this team. I think that's, when you look at it, I don't know. Are we the best defense around, the best offense around, the best special teams around? But we're a really good football team. We find ways to win. Kids like each other. They play hard for each other, and they believe in what we're doing. And so when you have a group like that, because, I talked to them about it at the Grotto today. Our senior class won 1 league game as freshmen. They won 3 games overall. And to be from that.
Coach Reynolds is on the line.
It's really a special thing.
Yeah, again, we're talking to head coach Doug Ramsey after a number 1 versus number 2 matchup at the Pit. It was a sold-out house. Elder wins the game, and they win the GCL South outright. And, Coach, I just want to talk to you about, the experience. You've had a lot of these games, obviously, but, when you get these environments and when you get these games, it's the reason why you keep going, right? Just, the fun, the community, everybody enjoying it, the strength of schedule, right? It's just a lot of fun right there.
It is. It's stressful, but it is fun. It's I think that's when you look at our league, it's what sets it apart. We have 3. We only play 3 league games, but they're tough 3 games. But then you also play a lot of other winning teams. Like you think we got to come back next week and we've got to play Highlands now. After playing LaSalle, Louisville, St. X, and Moeller, you got to come back and play Highlands, But it's fun. It's fun. It can be a grind for you, but as long as we can stay healthy, these are great games to play.
Again, that is head coach Doug Ramsey. His Elder Panthers defeated the number 1 ranked Moeller Crusaders at home tonight, 24-16. They're likely going to be the number 1 team ranked in our Blitz 5 Top 25. Coach, I want to thank you so much for joining us. We always appreciate you taking time to hang out with us. It's always great talking ball with you. Again, congratulations on this huge win, and I'm sure we'll catch up soon, all right?
All right, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.
Man, that was awesome night tonight.
And Greg, this GCL South, I mean, we talk about it year in and year out, this year specifically because, going into next week, the 3rd different team is going to be ranked number 1, right? And Coach mentioned it, the competition, right? Every year, week. There's athletes all over the field in every game that they play. And then next week, as you mentioned, you got Highlands, who just defeated Covcath. It's just a gauntlet of a schedule. But, Greg, that's why when it comes to playoff time, they're always ready.
Yeah, absolutely. And this league is very good again this year. And if you just look at what Elder's done to this point, it's amazing. Like you said, it did remind me a lot of those teams that 20 years ago. Then when he was a younger coach over there, and that place was packed constantly. But this team reminds me of that because there's so many different guys that step up on a weekly basis. It's that's why they're good.
Absolutely. Another number 1 versus number 2 ranked matchup. This one going to the Elder Panthers. And Greg, we're going to jump right into our next coaches interview, right? We're talking some swabble, right? We're going to talk some swabble football over here, right? We got head coach Trace Reynolds from Edgewood as they took on Ross tonight and won that game by a score of 20-14. And now Edgewood has won 3 of their last 4 games. Coach, I want to thank you so much for joining us and congratulations on a big win tonight.
Thank you for having me on. This is awesome.
Coach, I was out there. We were out there with the Gold Star Team of the Week on Wednesday, and we were talking. You guys had only won 2. We were sitting at 2-4, but you're right there in the playoff hunt. You get a big win tonight, go out and knock out another one next week. I mean, hey, you guys, you gotta start feeling good. Like Safwan was saying, you won 3 out of your last 4, and tell us a little bit about the vibe right now with your team.
This team's gritty, and we knew that going in. We have great leadership with our seniors, and, I think you saw it tonight when adversity struck. We had to put our defense out there on the field to win us a big game, and they did. They came up and got a stop against a very physical and tough Ross Ram team. I mean, Coach Commons does a great job over there, and, they're well coached, and anytime you play the triple, you got to be gap sound. And, I'm very proud of this team, what we've been through this year. You look at our schedule, those first 3, your home opener, you play Oak Hill, GMC school, much bigger than us, right? We take them down to the wire, we lose 21-20, right? And then, you go to Springboro and you play the Badens, and, we're sitting 0-3, but when you're looking at your football team, you're like, hey, we're a good football team. Like, we just didn't capitalize on some situations. And when you play good football teams and you don't capitalize, you don't execute, you're going to lose. But just where we're at right now, the vibes are great. I'm proud of our kids. I'm proud of our community for sticking with us. And, I think, we have a great opportunity coming up. Valley View's coming into town. They're a great football team. Coach King does a good job. But, the Edgewood Cougars are moving in the right direction, and I'm really proud of this group right now.
Yeah, Coach, I want to talk to you about that defense. I know you mentioned them, right? 4 straight weeks that they played really well, right? The only loss you guys had, you guys went up to Bellbrook, and it was, you only gave up 14 points. It was a 4-point game. Your defense is playing really good football. Talk to me about that unit and how important they are to your success.
Yeah, Coach Jason Heflin, our defense coordinator, he's been coaching high school football for over 25 years, and, he's done a great job of putting those kids in a place to be successful. But, we pride ourselves on defense. We want to take the ball away, and we want to make them snap it as much as possible and not give up the big play. And I think that how you've seen them grow over the course of this season is just getting those key takeaways or getting that key sack and, bringing back a guy like Sullivan Rothamel, who was, second leading tackler in the SOBL last year. And then Kyle Frankie steps up in that role. And, you have a Roman Smith at the nickel position who is an absolute stud. In our D line, we returned a lot of kids, but just that, blue collar mentality of, we are going to play physical every down. And, we're going to make you snap the ball and go toe to toe with you. But tonight, they sealed a game for us, and it was awesome to see.
Trace, this is your second year at the school. What's been the biggest difference between last year as your first year as a head coach and this year? I mean, what have you worked on as a person, as a coach, and try to get better at from year 1 to 2?
So for me, I stepped away from calling plays. My experience, it was all at the college level, and, I've coached pretty much every offensive position but the offensive line. And, when I come in last year, I tried to call plays, and, I was trying to do everything, and, I had to put trust in our staff. And, Mike Wells has done a great job, our offensive coordinator, and he's got things rolling. And what I've tried to focus on is I got to manage the kids. I got to manage the football game. I got to call timeouts. I've got to rely on the people that I put in position to do a job. And I think that's the biggest thing for me is growing as a head coach is trust your people. And I think our coaching staff has done a phenomenal job, and they've worked their tails off. And I've learned to, trust the guys you hire, manage your kids, manage culture, and not try to do everything. You know, I never want to be a micromanager. I want to put faith in the guys that I hire. So I just think that's probably the biggest thing I've learned this year, and still learning every day. I think to be successful, you got to be a lifelong learner.
Yo, that's awesome stuff. That is Trace Reynolds, head coach from Edgewood. They pick up a 20-14 win over Ross, and they are winners of 3 of their last 4 games. Coach, I want to thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk some ball with us. It's always good catching up with you. Again, congratulations on a big win, and I'm sure we'll catch up soon, all right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for having me, and go Cougars.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey, man, they're starting to roll a little bit. Again, another team that played a tough schedule early on. Let's see how they bounce.
Again, you play Oak Hills, who, we know they're playing good ball.
Yeah.
Baden, that's a really good defensive team at Baden, right? You go to Bellbrook, your defense plays well. Edgewood, they're going to be a pain in someone's side come playoff time.
Yeah, look, I honestly think they're going to get in here. I mean, Valley View's going to be a tough one next week. Now, they win that, they've punched their ticket into the playoffs for sure. But, yeah, and I wouldn't want to play them. You know, if they get in, it's that 5-12 matchup. I wouldn't want to be Team 5, which would be Talawanda, maybe.
Yeah, and again, they're battle tested, right? They're playing teams above them in the GMC,
no,
right?
That would be, they're D2, so yeah.
They're definitely battle tested. All right, we're going to take our final break of the evening, and Greg and I are going to hand out some game balls. We're going to run through the scoreboard, talk about some of the big teams tonight in Southwest Ohio and Northern Kentucky, and then we're going to put a ribbon around this show. So we appreciate you guys listening. It's the High School Football Tonight Show, powered by TriStateFootball.com on ESPN 1530 and Fox Sports 1360.
Charlie Clifford with Blitz 5 football. It is over. I don't know.
Okay.
It's Moeller and St. X and Jackson Fry and Matt Ponatowski.
If I cannot get him, should I move on to someone else, or are you guys just going to not do an interview?
Rivalry. Pre-game tailgate. 5
If we can't get him? Okay.
o'clock in studio. WLWT Blitz 5. Full highlights and reaction. Plenty other great games around. We'll see you for week 5.
For over 20 years, the Underground Sports Shop has been the local favorite for sports teams, fans, and businesses who are products with prices they can afford. From uniforms and sports gear to fan apparel and promotional items, we take pride in providing you with the customized products you need and the service you deserve. To place an order, visit us online at theundergroundsportsshop.com or call us at 513-751-1662. That's the Underground Sports Shop, showcasing pride on and off the field.
Mela Services has been your one-stop shop for window and carpet cleaning for over 15 years. We've built a reputation for excellence with thorough, responsive, and dependable service. Mela's proud of our 4.9 out of 5-star Google ranking because it means we've delivered excellent service to our customers over and over again. So let us put our award-winning team of cleaning experts to work for you. Check us out at melaservices.com/football.
For over 20 years, the Underground Sports Shop has been the local favorite for sports teams, fans, and businesses who are looking for quality products with prices they can afford. From uniforms and sports gear to fan apparel and promotional items, we take pride in providing you with the customized products you need and the service you deserve. To place an order, visit us online at theundergroundsportsshop.com or call us at 513-751-1662. That's the Underground Sports Shop.
Niederman is on.
Off the field.
I got Coach Niederman.
Right now at Wendy's, you can get 2 of the number 1.
Yeah, Kaniga didn't answer again, but I got Niederman.
The JBC plus medium fries and a medium soft drink for just $8. Want to hear something else great?
Stand by.
Means double the bacon. Now that's a game changer. 2 of the number 1 bacon cheeseburgers with fries and a drink for just $8. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Request $8 JBC meal deal to obtain discount. Individual items at regular price.
All right, we are rocking and rolling. High School Football Tonight Show, powered by TriStateFootball.com on ESPN 1530, Fox Sports 1360, Safwan Ulvi and Greg Shoemaker. And don't forget that right after we're off of here at 11 o'clock, Blitz 5 is live at 11 with all the scores and highlights from across the area. Join Charlie Clifford and Jaron May tonight at 11 on WLWT Channel 5. And Greg, you know it's never too late to talk to a winning coach, right? Let's go to the NKY, right? Let's go to the Bluegrass State.
This was a barn burner tonight.
And talk to a coach that has not yet lost a game this season. We're talking about Lloyd, right? The Juggernauts, they took down Bourbon County tonight by a score of 22-20 as they move now to 7-0 on the season. Coach, I want to thank you so much for joining us and congratulations on a big win and undefeated on the year so far.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It's certainly Feels good to be undefeated. Certainly proud of the kids. They're doing a really good job. Great group of kids to be around. Coaches are doing a fantastic job, and give 100% props to that Bourbon County team we played tonight. Those guys were good. They fought all night. They didn't give up. They were well coached. So you get a win like that, certainly it feels really good, no doubt.
Well, let's take us through the fourth quarter, Kyle. The third quarter, it was 9-0. You guys were ahead. Then you had to stave them off. Talk a little bit about the fourth quarter, how your team persevered there.
Yeah, we were playing real well. We kind of had a little bit of a special team snafu and gave them some field position, and they scored on that, and then came right back and scored, and then we were doing some good things, but then we kind of laid an egg here and there. We fumbled the ball, gave them the ball back. But yeah, I mean, it was a really good game, and then that fourth quarter came around, and we showed a lot of perseverance. We showed a lot of, just a lot of dedication and teamwork, and proud of the guys, no doubt. But that fourth quarter was a wild one, no doubt.
Yeah, Coach, and that's kind of where I want to go with my next question is you guys have been pretty dominant, right, kind of through weeks 1 through week 6, and, playing this game, which was a lot closer of a game, right, you guys really got to learn about, your teams a lot, right? Winning by a lot is always great, and it's always fun, but, these close games, these battled-out games, right, you come out with the victory, so it's always good to learn about your team and, the guts and the perseverance.
100%. 100%. I agree with everything you just said right there. It's always good to win. It's always good to win a big one. You get some guys in, and we have had fortunate. We've had a couple of those this year, but no doubt, right? I mean, you play a game like this, you learn a lot about your discipline, your mental toughness. Can the team come together when times get tough? How are you going to react? And we answered the call on every one of those things tonight. So, but 100%, I agree with everything you just said. We needed that. We needed that game, and we additionally needed to come out of that game with a win.
I want to talk a little bit about a couple of your players. Lincoln Tomlinson's having a great year on both sides of the football. Last year as a freshman, was really pretty doggone good as a freshman linebacker. I think he had over 100 tackles. But you move him a running back this year. Talk about him and then his classmate Demarion Peterson's having a big year on defense as well. Talk about these two sophomores. They're really giving you a boost.
They are. Come back to, right, they're both really hard workers. They both show up to practice. They both show attention to detail when you're going over things and whatever it might be, indie time or film. They're a student of the game. And then additionally on top of that, when something does happen, they are diligently trying to get better at that. And, of course, when you have that type of an attitude, you have that type of work ethic, good things are going to happen to you. Truth of the matter is they were pretty good players last year. They just happened to be freshmen, and we were fairly deep in the position they were playing last year. So not a big believer in playing freshmen, but in the same token, them having good years this year has really not been that surprising.
Yeah, that is head coach Kyle Niederman from the Lloyd Juggernauts. They are 7-0 on the season after a 22-20 win against Bourbon County tonight. Coach, I want to thank you so much for joining us. Again, thank you for taking the time to hang out with us after the game. Congratulations on that 7-0 start. Best of luck in the future, and I'm sure we'll catch up soon, all right?
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
All right, Coach.
Man, I'll tell you what, they're all right.
They're playing good football.
I
They're
mean,
7-0.
He has built a program. They've had 19 wins the last 2 years combined, and they're 7-0 now. So what are they? They're like 20. So I think they came into the year like 19-5 over the last 2 years, so like 26-5 now. And these guys know how to win. Look, we were talking about their sophomore. They're going to be good for another few more years.
Absolutely. They do a lot of winning at Lloyd, right? There's not maybe a team that NKY that gets a lot of pub, right? But you just look at their schedule, right? 8, 9, Greg, 10 wins year after year.
He's done a great job there. I mean, he's been awesome as their head coach.
Absolutely. So appreciate head coach Kyle Niederman for joining us. And Greg, let's just jump right back into the Underground Sports Shop scoreboard. But before we do that, I want to hand out some game balls, right?
Maybe hand out some game balls.
A game ball
tonight.
or two. Yeah. I can go ahead and kick us off, right? I got to start with the number 1 versus number 2, right?
Yeah.
I already talked about him in the interview. Jackson Ruth, right? 9 receptions, 139 yards, 2 touchdowns, right? Caden Eastep was awesome too, and he's as he always is, right? But when you get contributions, Greg, from other guys, right, that help your quarterback out on the passing game and in the running game, was a big contribution to Elder knocking off the number 1 ranked team, Moeller Crusaders. Elder looking like they might be moving to number 1 next week.
Yeah, let's give it to Highlands tonight for that win. And let's go with Rio Littmer, the quarterback, engineering that last drive, hitting Tatum Lorenzo and from 18 yards out. Only touchdown pass of the game for Littmer. Only touchdown catch of for Lorenzen as well. So a big win there for Highlands. Next week they're at the Pit versus number 5 versus number 1. So,
How about that?
Yeah, man, we just keep getting really good games week in and week out.
This season is truly the gift that just keeps on giving, right? It's truly just
the top games are been fantastic. Yep.
Greg, I want to jump to the GMC for my next game ball. How about a defensive game ball?
Oh,
right?
There we go.
We're going to the Middletown versus Lakota East game. How about CJ Bryant? Right, he had 14 total tackles tonight. 5 solo tackles. He also had a half of a tackle for loss. He's been all over the place. He's one of the top GMC guys in sacks, and he also had an interception tonight, right?
Yeah,
so 14
man,
tackles and an interception and a tackle for loss. CJ Bryant was all over the place. Middletown's defense dominant in a win versus Lakota East.
Gotta like that. That was a really good game by him. Hey, I want to go over to, let's go to Lebanon. They won tonight over Milford. Their running backs, Logan Schmenk and Mason Reed, tonight combined to run for 181 yards, and each of them scored a touchdown tonight. So 187 yards in a touchdown. So really nice night for the two of them. And look, Lebanon just keeps on winning.
Absolutely good. And those are the game balls highlighting all the big performances around the tri-state area, Greg. I just want to take one more look at the Underground Sports Shop scoreboard before we get out of here. And a game we didn't talk about, a team we didn't talk about because the final score came in late, a top 15 team, right? How about Baden, right? 15th ranked. They were taking on Fenwick tonight, pitching a shutout, right? The defense for Nick Yorty's team just keeps on keeping on.
Yeah, look, that team, they're running the ball, and they're putting up major points and major yardage rushing the football. They've been really good. I knew they were going to be good, but they're one of the bigger surprises to me right now because of just how good they have been.
Absolutely. That Baden score is brought to you by AE Door and Window Company. They sell the best and service the rest. Our big thanks to Bill and Adam Weber for their continued support for high school football throughout all the years. And Greg, again, just kind of wrapping up all the big games as we talked about in bunches tonight. Elder taking down Moeller tonight. Elder looking like the number 1 team in the country, winning that game. And some of the other games, just big top 25 games. Anderson, number 3, taking down Turpin, 58-16. St. Xavier, right? The game that was right here on these airwaves. They were taking on the number 1 ranked team in Kentucky, Louisville Trinity. 17-14 St. X wins. It's a big win for St. X, but Greg, and as Tony and all the guys Nick talk about, they do got to get some things cleaned up if they want to make a deep playoff run.
And that's the thing, right? They just haven't. They've been sort of in a funk all season. They haven't had a lot of great consistency, and we thought we were going to see that with them. We thought they'd be the more consistent team with the seniors that they have. So. But let's not forget what Tony Shad said. We forgot a couple game balls tonight. Griffin Lions,
and Braden
Riley. So let's not forget those two St. Xavier guys having a great game on the defense for the Bombers.
Yeah, the Bombers, they have so much experience on defense, right, with Riley and Clapper and Daniel Vollmer obviously being a stud that he is.
Brett, yeah.
Their defense is going to keep them in games no matter what, right? Yep. That's just that style of team, right? How about another GCL South team that we didn't get to talk about, an interstate matchup, right? A top 10 team, the LaSalle Lancers. They were taking on Ron Colley from Indiana, right? That's a very good team over there in Indiana. Ron Colley, a traditional power. LaSalle with a 22-14 win. That's an impressive win for LaSalle, and a team that might finish last in GCL South is still a top 10 team.
They still could very easily be the regional champions in Division II. Yeah,
that's the way
they're going to be playing Anderson again there.
Absolutely.
And Anderson won big again tonight, too.
Anderson, with that 58-16 win and some games going around the GMC. Lakota East got defeated by Middletown 27-6. Fairfield took care of Mason 14-13, a 1-point game there. Some other games going around. Lebanon took care of Milford over there in the ECC 37-21.
Micah Thaler did not play quarterback, so I don't know how long he's out for or what, but that's an interesting. They got to win with Marcus Reed playing quarterback, but no Micah Thaler over there.
Yep, and that's something to watch as we get closer to playoff time. Absolutely. We had number 9 Taft taking on Hughes tonight, 41-0. Taft 7-0 for the first time in program history. Coach Tyler Williams, Greg, has those boys playing really, really well. And then over there in Eastern Indiana, we had number 19 East Central taking care of Connorsville, 63-0. And then we had Lawrenceburg. Last time we checked, it was 63-0 in that game. So Lawrenceburg obviously got the win there. Franklin County was taking on South Dearborn. Franklin County wins that 28-10. And then we had Milan taking on Eastern Hancock. Eastern and Hancock with a 40-7 win there. Greg, anything in Eastern Indiana standing out to you?
Well, I mean, we talked earlier, Lawrenceburg, they just get hot at the right time of year going into playoffs. They're going to be a load. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see that team make a deep run into the playoffs and maybe get into the semi-state or the state finals.
Absolutely. And then Batesville was taking on Greensburg. Greensburg with a 1-point win there.
Wow.
31-30 over Batesville. Yep.
Greensburg came into the season having not won a game. So
Absolutely. And then North Decatur, they were taking on Eastern Green, and North Decatur wins that game 59-14. And Greg, real quick before we get out of here, just those big teams in Southwest Ohio, the big Covcath Highlands game, Highlands versus Elder at the Pit. There's so much fun that we're having around the tri-state area. Just anything standing out to you with the big games tonight?
Well, yeah, I mean, the way the Elder or Moeller shot themselves in the foot in that game with the 10 penalties for 80 yards, the 2 late sacks in that game, that can't happen. And it just was a tough one for Moeller.
WSAI Cincinnati.
Sorry, guys. It's it went back to the it's hard time. That's why I texted you guys. There's a hard out of 59:50. So cut you guys off, but good show. I will not be with you guys. Yeah, Drew will be with you guys next week. I will not be. So Drew's gonna be with you guys next week, and then I'll be back in the following week.